Hey guys, this is 012 Boku coming at you with another movie review, and I was thinking down the line to do a little something different given the holidays. I know it's probably going to be a little late because I'm not doing it right away, but I figured I would go ahead and I would start us off with the next big picture in mind for the action movies, and that is, like I said, I switched my mind on it when I was doing the review for Live Free or Die Hard, but I'm going to do A Good Day to Die Hard. We are on the last of the Die Hard series. Like I said, regardless of the rumors that I found out at the beginning of this year or late last year of McClane with Bruce Willis being the only one involved, I don't know if McClane is going to happen. Personally, I hope it doesn't, but you guys have already heard me go over many of the things, what happens if they do a Die Hard 6 or McClane, so sorry, my allergies. So you guys already know how I feel on that whole thing. This movie is the, like I said, the fifth and last one in the installments. It was made in 2013, so quite a few years ago now, this one was made. And, I mean, I never noticed this because you can't fully tell in Live Free or Die Hard that Bruce Willis is showing his age when they made that one. But when you get to A Good Day to Die Hard, you can see that, yeah, Bruce Willis is sort of showing his age. He sort of does seem a little overweight, you know, like he's getting old. I mean, he still looks good for a guy who was in his 50s or near his 60s when he did this. He still looks really good, just like Harrison Ford did at this time. But just like with Harrison Ford in, Indiana Jones and Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, which we will get to, you can see how that is starting to affect him because, like I said, I'm doing my movies in a different order and I've reorganized, so you'll probably see me redo some movie reviews. I will keep the old movie reviews up. I don't feel like, to delete the old reviews, but I probably will do them in a different style to connect how I'm doing, and I'll just try to remember when I started these reviews. Obviously, I'm going to say it's going to be with the James Bonds, and I'll probably go back and redo it too. And, I'll try to see if I can do different things all the way through. Or I may just even try different things when we do it again. So I don't mean to be doing the same thing. And if I find out that I've done it, I'll let you guys know, and I'll think of different things that I could do. But, I'll definitely try to remember when I go through my list of what I've had in there. Because I know I've done some Indiana Jones and some of my adventure films, and I probably will fit a redo in here at some point. But either than that side tangent, focusing on this film, this is the film that we are focusing on today, A Good Day to Die Hard. And again, it stars Bruce Willis, as you can obviously see there. That's him. Well, that's Jai Courtney, but Bruce Willis right there. That's him. And he's back as John McClane. He still has it. I don't care what anybody says. Like I said, I may not like this movie as much as I did when it first came out, but Bruce Willis still has the demeanor of John McClane, the style, the character, everything down that you need to love about John McClane. It is still here. He still has it. I believed in this film, Bruce Willis still proved he could still be an action star of the time, even though he is showing his age. And, they didn't have him do, I believe, all the heavy-handed stunts that he originally did, but he still did a lot of hands-on stuff and a lot of stuff that was still pretty damn cool. And, it was awesome. And he, did so well as John McClane, and it just worked so well. And in this one, he's trying to go after his son Jack. We just see him at a shooting range really quick. There's this one cop who I don't know the name of, who talks with him, and he basically says how, your son's in Russia, he's into some dark stuff. don't know what's going on, but he's in trouble. So he heads over to Russia to find his son, and he's going to the Russian courthouse where his son is being held along with this Russian war criminal. And, you know, that's when all hell breaks out because people are trying to break in to get at this Russian war criminal and to seize him, possibly even kill him. And then there's John McClane who sees this, and he sees his son Jack getting involved, and he's trying to run into his son Jack, and he's trying to talk with him, and then he sees, you know, his son being chased by all these things. So you can see John McClane gets in to the nitty-gritty so fast. It's just like, it's fun, it's good, and, you know, I mean, it would be stuff that John McClane does, not understanding what's going on, but his cop instincts are there, so he just goes for it. Even though, in this film, he does seem like the idiot, because he has no idea what's going on. And all the other 4 films that preceded this one, he had an idea of what was happening. And in this one, you know, Judd's like, I don't know what's happening. Hey, Jack! Jack, I need to talk with you. Hey, Jack! What are you doing, Jack? Spy shit? Hey, Jack! You know, it's like, that's the main thing that McClane does. And it does make him look like an idiot. And that's the one thing that I have to get on, director John Moore and writer Skip Woods, who did this one, is they made John McClane look, I won't say he was a lot, but I will say he does look a bit stupid. And that's never good when you have your main character look stupid, even if it is a bit. I mean, it's one thing if he's tricked, but John McClane wasn't tricked by anyone here. He just gets into the situation, doesn't understand, and I don't know if it was his fault or what or not, but he does make some things end up going badly for his son, who's trying to protect this Russian war criminal. And, you know, it's great, and it's awesome to see one of the things that, you know, John McClane does is to protect his son and always be there and to think on his feet. Like when there's a part they have to break into a hotel that used to be owned by the Russian war criminal, he pays off the busboy to get him in by giving him a whole lot of money. And there's a part where when these assassins are trying to get to the war criminal, and, you know, his son, McClane's son sees this, and John McClane just picks up a huge gun as they're coming in, and he just mows them all down like like that. But my friend would know the type of rifle that was. I have no idea what that was. But, I mean, that was an awesome scene, and that was good stuff. And obviously, you know, I mean, it fit there, but it's sort of like, you know, John McClane in this film just seems like the bumbling fool, and it doesn't fully fit his character. So it's like, you know, I guess I get it, but at the same time, not fully, but hey. Sorry guys, recently drank coffee, so trying to keep the caffeine down, because I don't know if you guys have it, but when I have coffee, caffeine goes right to my head and it feels weird. It gets me up, it gets me going ready for this stuff, but it just makes me feel weird. Not to mention that, honestly, I was up till 3:50 in the previous morning, or last night, so yeah, I got caught into what I was doing again, and just watching videos on YouTube, and I admit, I love looking at artwork, and I'll tell you a bit about myself right now, because it will probably go into some other movies and animes that I own, but I am a furry fan and stuff a bit. I'm not into the furry culture, but I am a furry fan. I love the anthro artworks, you know, a whole bunch of things, and I was caught up looking at a bunch of really good artwork of characters. So yeah, like that's what kept me up last night. So that's why I had to do that right now. But other than that, yeah. Continuing on, we have Jai Courtney, scene right here. John McClane Jr., as we see it, or as we go by his name, Jack McClane. And Jack McClane, in this movie, we get to see him, like, right when we have two characters, the Russian war criminal and this Russian minister, arguing with each other, who used to be business partners with each other in the criminal underworld, together arguing. And when they're done arguing, we see Jack come into this music club, and he's and he's like, I have a message from, I wonder if they have his name here. From Yuri Kemerov. And this one guy says in this music club, Yuri Kemerov. And he's like, yeah, I think he says hello or something like that. The cliche line before you kill somebody. And he shoots this guy to kill him. And we have the cops and guards tackle him down. And then he's in a Russian prison. We have this lawyer come in and say to Jack, hey, you did this and you're one of Yuri Kemerov's. And he's like, well, how about I cut a deal with you guys? And I went in that courtroom with him. And then they're like, well, okay, what are you going to do? He's like, I'll figure that out when I'm in there. And they let him in there. And, I think Jack said he also had some, type of deal on Yuri Kemerov. So that also fit it. So, Jack gets in there. He's in a cell right next to Yuri Kemerov. The trial's about to start. That's when the Russian minister has his men show up at the courthouse, and they start to blow it up. And they set off a bomb, killing all the judges, most of the people inside, and the jury members and stuff like that. Only a few guards are alive, but they quickly get mowed down by these terrorists. And Jack gets Yuri Kemerov, the war. Yeah. I was going to say war minister, but I'll just say it because I already said his name. Kemerov. He gets Kemerov out, and, they're running from him. And that's when he runs into McClane, who he's shocked to see. And, he calls him John. He's like, what are you doing here, John? You're ruining everything. Get out of my way. And he gets Kemerov in a car, and they take off. And then the terrorists take off after Jack and Kemerov. And then John McClane, like I said, chases after them. And I guess, by the time there's these Predator drones, and I think some of our U.S. Navy and Air Force jets following Jack McClane around, and they're trying to get Yuri Kemerov to the safe zone that Jack needs to get. And what happens is Jack misses it, and the team that was monitoring him have him go dark, and he's trying to talk to them on the phone, saying, I could still get there. Let me get there. And they're like, no, the garden ring's closed. They shut down the garden ring. You're not going to make it. We have to cut ties. This could happen and whatnot. And, they shut Jack off. And then there's dialogue with all these military advisors going, why is he doing this? You said this guy was good. And then you hear this woman say, he's never had this problem before. Nothing's ever frazzled or worked this guy at all. Something must have happened down there. And Jack, by the time when he realizes nobody's coming, he's pounding the steering wheel, he's hitting it, he's upset, and he literally says, damn you, McClane, because he blames his dad for what happens, or for what happened. And, it goes on to where, McClane basically, near the end of this whole chase scene, which was a really good chase scene, ended up saving Jack. He causes the terrorists to go over an overpass and crash down below. Jack's car's ruined, or not, John's car's ruined and totaled. Jack lets him into the van that that Kemerov and him took, and they head to the safe house, to where McClane's like, so Jack, this is what you're into? Spy stuff? You're a government spy or something? You're a James Bond? I think he even says you're like a James Bond or something. And, Jack is like, you don't know what you're doing here, McClane. I didn't ask you here. I didn't want you here. You have no idea what you're in. You've ruined, I think he said 6 or 8 months worth of investigation. And it's a huge mess. And Jack is just he's livid at his father. And then, Safe House gets compromised. They're on the run. They're trying to get, Yuri away from these people, which both Jack and John McClane succeed in. And there's a part where they're still talking, and, John's like, come on, Jack, can I be a father to you? I want to help you out here. I see you're in some terrible stuff. Let me help you. And Jack's like, it's a bit late for that, John. You were never there for me when we really needed you. Mom, my sister, me. You were never there for us. I think he says something like, well, I'm here now, so let me help. And, Jack is, distant. They're trying to, figure out certain things. And it goes along to where they get, Kamarov up to the hotel, up to his room to get this file that he needs so they can escape the country. All of a sudden, you have this part where, they're discovered, they run off with Kamarov. Jack and John McClane get temporarily captured because they know they're going to be instantly killed. But one of the henchmen, classic henchman crap, takes his time killing him, doesn't do it right away, fiddles around. John and Jack McClane at this time are sort of mirroring each other with their words. Like, there's some sort of growth here that happens really quickly with the characters. It happens, like, way too quick. It's like, because this movie is very fast-paced. It's going from point A to point B like that. And that's probably one of my biggest things with this movie, is it goes way too fast. And then, John and Jack McClane work together. All of a sudden, they break out of their bonds, they get some guns, they start shooting at the henchmen and all the men. They kill most of the men that the henchmen had with them, and then he runs off to get to the helicopter that Kamarov's on. And then this helicopter is a military-grade helicopter with weapons on it, so it has a Gatling gun on it, or whatever type of gun. I don't know which. And it starts shooting at them through the hotel, breaking the glass and things like that. Jack and John McClane run. They're going down one of the construction tubes that they use to, like, sift dirt down and I think bring materials up. And they get, like, down there. They crash in the last bit of minutes because the tubes just get shot away. And luckily, all the bullets miss these guys. So as you can see in classic action films, plot armor can't kill these guys, so the plot armor is very thick, and they basically end up crashing on the bottom near the scaffolding at the construction site. I think the helicopter takes off because it can't sit around there to be needed and to be found. And what happens is John and Jack, they slink away before the cops show up miraculously. And there's a part where John and Jack, they're in an adjacent empty building. And this is where they're finally having a one-on-one father and son talk that isn't small. And, John's trying to console his son, saying, hey, you did all right. I'm sorry we lost him. And he's trying to tell Jack that it's not over. But Jack's like, Yuri's gone. He's gone. They got him. They're not going to let him go. We lost the file. We lost everything. It's over. And, John McClane's like, all right, Jack. All right. So we just head home now, we'll go back home, we'll, do some good stuff, we'll have some father and son bonding, you can get into your slippers, have a little Bosco, I can read you some Bugs Bunny, or you can watch some Bugs Bunny in your slippers, and, it's like, it's, Bruce Willis is John McClane, just laying it on thick, saying, come on, son, it's not over. And by this time, you have, John McClane noticing that Jack McClane has got a piece of rebar, those metal bars in the construction stones stuck in his side. And Jack notices, John notices, and then, he's like, do you want to go get him? Jack agrees with his father after a little bit of character growth that they can work together on this. And then John's going to grab the rebar, and he's like, Jack, you're not going to cry, are you? You're not going to cry, you're not going to shed tears, because it's okay if you cry. Remember when you fell and skimmed your knee when you were like 8 or something, you cried for weeks, and then Jack's like, Dad, pull it out. He basically yanks it out to where Jack does give a loud groan, and ugh, that type of stuff sticking, I can only imagine. And probably tetanus shots, which we never see in this movie, are probably going to be needed. Because holy crap, the rust and the dirt and everything on that, or if not a tetanus shot, you need to clear all that stuff out from inside your body, hopefully soon. And then what happens is John and Jack McClane, they steal a car from a Russian club that has mobsters or organized crime in it, whatever you want to call it, and they take one that has tons of guns. And they're heading down to where Kamarov's area for the file is known, because Kamarov and his partner used Chernobyl as a area to hide whatever it is they are, and where the file for Kamarov really is. And what you see is that John and Jack McClane actually have their talk with each other where, hey son, or we're not going to Chernobyl, France, or, we're not going to Chernobyl with the beach or all this. And then, Jack laughs and says, Grenoble, Dad. Grenoble, not Chernobyl. Grenoble, France, not Chernobyl. And they just, like, talk about stuff in the car, just having a good time. A little bit more of father-son bonding, and it actually ends. I can't remember everything that they said, but I know it ends with McClane going, hey son, do they have all the nuclear stuff, that's in Chernobyl, that's removed, right? And Jack just looks at him like, which, considering what happens in the movie, the villains find a way to neutralize the nuclear material, and again, it's an action movie, but I don't ever think it would work that quickly as A Good Day to Die Hard brings on. And, it just gives that notion that, hey, you can remove nuclear crap like that in a movie like that. Don't need to worry about after effects or nothing or poisoning. Hey, it does not exist in an action film. So they get to the destination in Chernobyl. They see all these men setting up to take something out of there. They don't know what. It looks like they're getting ready to take nuclear weapons. And, Jack actually has the talk with his father. And, basically they talk about how, I'm sorry I wasn't always there for you, but hey, you became a good man, Jack. You became someone like me. It's not being a cop, but you're doing right things for your country. You've set yourself up to be a great man. You're like me, a chip off the old block. You know what, Jack? Regardless of what's happened today and over the years with us, I'm proud of you. And, Jack basically says, thanks, Dad. And then I think this is where the part where he even says back to his dad, well, you know what, Dad? I know you were just always trying to do what was best for me. I'm sorry for how I treated you throughout this day and probably for the last few years. You know what, Dad? I love you. And that is the only bit of character big building that this movie had. Other than that, it's tons of action, point A to point B. And that's why I'm saying I have a lot more respect now for Live Free or Die Hard, because that had the better story to it. This one's just like, holy crap, action doesn't stop, little bit of story, and there it is! There's the meat of this thing. It's not about Kamarov, the Russian minister, all this file crap and nuclear crap. I mean, that's part of it. That is like the little side story. But the main thing is Jack and John McClane coming together, and that is the one last bit that they got near the end of the movie to do it. And it's like, wow. I never realized how fast it went. And this movie's only an hour and 40 minutes, and it doesn't even feel like it. I mean, that's the other thing, too. And, I'll tell you what I thought, why I liked this movie better than Live Free or Die Hard, and I'll explain that near the end here. But I don't think it was enough to save this film, potentially. And it wasn't. Really, it wasn't. And, I mean, this is still a good movie, but, man, it is the weakest in the Die Hard series, in my opinion. And, there's a part where, Jack and John McClane, they start taking out bad guys, start, trying to save the day. They get to Kamarov. They find out that, again, Kamarov, is up to the old tricks, as all the villains were. It was always about money. And then there's a part where, John is trying to go after Kamarov's daughter, and Kamarov is trying to kill Jack and trying to get to where his daughter is so they can both take off the helicopter and take this nuclear weapons material that they need to build weapons to have this empire that they want. And there's actually a part where John McClane is actually dangling from a truck trying to bring the helicopter down to protect his son when his son was being shot up by the helicopter. Not shot at, but it was shooting at him, and he was under this thin cover that wasn't going to last. So McClane, distracts the helicopter, and, McClane is hanging from this truck that he used to tie to the end of the helicopter to bring the helicopter's weight towards him, so it couldn't focus on shooting at Jack. And then, Kamarov looks at McClane and he's like, well, it looks like your father's not going to live to see the next day, huh? And then Jack goes, well, yeah, that may be true, but neither will you. And then they redo the classic fall of Hans Gruber, which Alan Rickman's fall in Die Hard is always going to be the best, because his da, 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 you know, that is going to be the best Michael Kamen's music in the background, you know, with that, you know, God, I hope that's not a civilian, as Paul Gleason says, the body's fallen. But it's basically like Yuri Kamarov's got the same look, and he's like that as he's falling back, just to be sliced up by one of the rotor blades on the helicopter. It's like the back rotor tail on the helicopter, that little one that just spins, and it's like, yeah, subtle. I mean, it was cool, don't get me wrong, but I never realized, Cinema Sin even says it best in his review of A Good Day to Die Hard. It just sort of like pastes what they did in the original Die Hard onto that thing with Yuri Kamarov dying, and it's, I mean, he was so right about that, so it was cool. And you know, like, overall, that's basically the development of Jack. And, I mean, yeah, there's not much to it, so, hey, I mean, sorry that it took long to explain Jack, but that's how long it needs to take to explain Jack, because that is Jack's entire arc. You can talk about it even in reviewing this movie, because it doesn't take that long, because there wasn't much to it. That was all there was. That was the huge meat of the story. Not much there, guys, and that's why I can't look at this film like I do the other four. It's like, this, I mean, the end, I'll tell you about the ending of this movie in a minute, and, that was the saving grace to me of this movie, but it's like, you know, and also the rated R rating, like I said, but, you know, it's just, way too fast of a film. We also have, Sebastian, Koch, I think, or Koch, or however you want to say it. I'm going to say Koch, Sebastian Koch, let's see, and, Sebastian Koch plays Kamarov, and he, like I said in the beginning of the film, is in a prison, and he wants to testify against his former business partner, who is one of the Russian ministers in the courts, and I'm going to try to get a new thing up, because I want to know what the name of his partner was, and I'm going to try to find it. I think it was Alexei or something, but was something of that nature. Let's see here. So here we go, I found it. Let's see what it'll say, and let's see here. Oh, no. Okay, it was Chigarin. That's what the guy's name was, Chigarin. And Chigarin was this Russian minister who had the power, who didn't want Kamarov to testify, and he's like, you know, if you testify, I will end you. And like Yuri Kamarov says, you know, I was ready for my choice long ago. And like I said, it gets to the point where he's at the trial. Jack's there. The terrorists break in. Jack helps him out, and like, you know, during the explosion of the courthouse, you know, Kamarov is like being like hurt. He's like acting like he's hurt. He's like slow. He's, you know, coughing, almost like he's sickly. And you know, they go along through the whole thing that, you know, Jack's trying to save him. John's on his coattails. You know, Yuri Kamarov doesn't understand what's going on with this whole thing, and you know, he's just looking at this thing, and there's a part where, you know, when they get to the safe house, you know, they're talking about fathers and daughters and sons, and there's even a part where like Yuri and John McClane have a thing, and he's saying, you know, you have children, yes? And like John's saying, yes, Jack there is my son. And he's like, oh, I have my daughter. And you know, it's like, you know, Yuri's like, our children can be a handful, and you know, but there's nothing more important. He's like, yeah, I know, kids. And you know, you have Yuri even looking like consoling at John McClane, saying, you know, give it time, he will come around to you. So that was a nice thing of Yuri Kamarov to say. And, like, 'cause, he understands it, and it's interesting that that was in there. And like I said, then they get to the safe house. At the safe house, during all their banter, you have Yuri trying to contact his daughter. He can't do it. He gets into a change of clothes. All of a sudden, there's a bullet shot, and we see Yuri get hit in the arm. Yuri's noticing it. And then all of a sudden, that's when all hell breaks loose. They get Kamarov out of there, and John and Jack McClane continue on. Again, get to the hotel. Yuri gets caught. Apparently, his daughter set him up, and, his daughter was working for Chigarin the entire time. And then, he gets the file. The daughter was helpless, then she's not. They get away. Jack and John traipse after him. And when they get to Chernobyl, you see where they're looking for a file. They're doing everything to get the radiation to clear. They go into this vault. And in this vault, there's a whole bunch of uranium grade material that you can use weapons in. As John McClane says in this film, hilariously enough, the bomb kind. Yeah, Dad, the bomb kind. And it's like, probably you could use it for chemical and whatever else too, but dangerous stuff to basically build nuclear weapons out of, weapons of mass destruction too, and all that. And you have Chigarin's henchmen getting angry about what happens, what's all this, uranium, where's the file. All of a sudden, we see Kamarov's daughter with the henchman, and we see Kamarov go off screen. All of a sudden, the henchman says, "Where's the file?" one more time. Kamarov has a gun in his hand, and he blasts the henchman once in the head, and then he just shoots him over and over again when he's on the ground. And he says, that's no longer your concern. So we learned that Kamarov was practically the head of this operation the entire time, and his daughter was just a double-crossing person, just pretending to work for Chigarin the entire time. And, they're going to take the enriched uranium out of the vault from Chernobyl and, take it to God knows where so they can take control of Russia and or the world. And they'll probably make a bunch of money in the process. Because like McClane even says in this film, once again, it's all about money and power. It's not about the cause. The cause is the money and power. There never is any other cause behind a lot of these things. And, sad but true, but basically, for most things in life, that is what it boils down to, is money and who has control almost over everything. There's not really another noble cause behind it. And, like when John and Jack get there and they see, Yuri just standing there as he's... Before John and Jack get there, right before they get there, Kamarov has a cell phone, and he's talking with Chigarin, and Chigarin's being massaged, and he thinks he's talking to Alec, but then he hears it's Kamarov. Chigarin's looking worried. He's wondering, what happened to Alec. Basically, Kamarov says Alec's dead, and then I wanted my voice to be the last thing you ever heard. Goodbye, old friend. And then all of a sudden, this big, muscle-bound guy who looked like a masseuse was coming in to get him, basically puts him in a headlock, chokes him, and I believe you hear his neck break. So basically, Chigarin gets his neck broke. Kamarov's old partner's dead. He's smiling about it, and then he turns around after that happens, and he sees Jack and John McClane there. They're wondering about all the enriched nuclear material. You have Kamarov shocked to see them, so all of a sudden, he's standing straight up, like all fine, but then he gets all hunched. He's like, thank God you're here, Jack. Forcing the cough and, being all skittered, and then all of a sudden, Jack isn't buying it anymore. John McClane isn't buying it anymore. He actually says, "Where's the dancer?" Because his henchman, said he could be a dancer, I swear to God. Pretty stupid, lines for that henchman. And, idiocy. But, McClane says, "Where's the dancer?" He sees that the henchman's dead, Chigarin's henchman's dead on the ground. And we, have, just Jack McClane questioning Kamarov, what is all this? You never told me about this. This was only supposed to be a file. What is all this here? And then, Yuri Kamarov just comes clean because, McClane wheels on him and Jack is still wheeling on him. And they're threatening Kamarov with death now. And then, Kamarov, who's still trying to live up his act, he just drops it like that and says, yeah, I was the one behind this. There never was any file. I used Shigerin to get what I needed. I used the people around me to get what I needed. The Russian courts to get what I needed. And he's like, I used everybody. And Jack, I used you. Even though if Jack didn't understand that, and Kamarov didn't know that Jack was going to be at this trial and do what he can, maybe he did, maybe he didn't. We never fully understand this. Again, this is what makes a longer structured movie make a lot more sense instead of quick. But either way, even if he didn't know that Jack was there, he used Jack on the fly to get what he wanted done and to have it be a bit more successful. And Kamarov just says this straight face and doesn't care. And then all of a sudden, the daughter comes in, shootout in the building, John McClane goes after the uranium and goes after Kamarov's daughter. Jack goes after Kamarov, Kamarov gets thrown to the roof, dies, and that's pretty much it for Kamarov. So, interesting villain, but yeah, just... I have a feeling they were just trying to redo Hans Gruber without much success. Hans and Simon Gruber without much success. And then there is, hold on here, let me go to the thing here. There's, Raja, I think it's Raja Bukvik, who played, Raja Bukvik, who played, or as it says here at IMDb, Radovoj Bukvik, but it's Rasha Bukvik, and Bukvik in this movie where he plays Alec, who is Shigerin's henchman. And, I've got to say that Rasha Bukvik, good-looking guy, nice henchman. He looked like he had a lot of potential, but, man, they bring Alec down with some of the most cheesiest lines I've ever heard in an action movie. Like they try to make this guy tough, and then, they're trying to make him funny as well. Like, they're trying to emulate, Hans Gruber and Carl at times, or they're trying to, emulate, Simon Gruber, even, a bit of Thomas Gabriel thrown in there, because Thomas Gabriel had some of the dry wit and things to him, even though he was a vicious guy as well. But it's it doesn't work to that effect. Alec in this film just comes off as annoying. I couldn't get into him. I didn't care for him. I feel bad when he does get double-crossed and killed, but it's what was the point of this guy? It's there was almost no point to have Alec in this film. There really wasn't. It was pointless, and Alec served no purpose. And like you said, when I said in the last bit just a moment ago, when John McClane says, "Where's the dancer?" That's what Alec says when before they're about to kill John McClane and Jack McClane. They're tied up and they're listening to Alec basically dance. He's like, I should have been a dancer. I swear to God. But I never liked doing the moves. And it was just oh my God. Enough of this forced comedy. It doesn't work coming from you. I mean, Rasha Bukvik, you seem like you could be a good actor and everything, but holy crap. I could not get into Alec. And like I said, it goes along where he's just there moving things around, gets killed by Kamarov, and that's pretty much all for him. And then there's, I know I've seen Cole Hauser before. I don't know what Cole Hauser has been in, but, I mean, this was also a pointless role for Cole Hauser, too, because, Cole Hauser, who plays, Collins, is, Jack's partner. And he's just there at the safe house, upset that everything went foobar, and you have him being upset with Jack, him being upset that McClane's there, why'd everything go wrong, and that's pretty much it. And then all of a sudden, when Yuri gets shot in the arm, we see that, and then sadly Collins gets killed, I think, right in the chest or in the neck or something, or maybe even shot in the head. I don't remember where, but he's killed outright like that. So it's like, oh, Cole Hauser, because like I remember when I saw the credits, Cole Hauser, who's he play? I never figured it out, and then I think one of the couple of years ago when I first got this film, I looked at it and I'm like, oh, he plays Jack's partner for that 5-minute scene, and he got a main character credit from that. I would have stopped at Rasha Bukvik, because at least Rasha Bukvik is in quite a bit of the movie before he's killed. Cole Hauser just had this quick 5-minute scene, and it wasn't even that impactful. Like, you have certain characters that have an impact, and like I said, I know Cole Hauser, can't remember from where, but I know of his work and know of him, and, or maybe not his work, but I know of him, and, you know, it's just like, wow, you were pointless in this movie. You're dead like that. You don't factor into it at all. So, what a pointless thing for a character. But like I said, the fast pace of this movie, point A to point B, it didn't make much sense. I will also, because you guys know I love talking about movie scores, and again, yeah, Marco Beltrami is the composer again for this film, like he was for the fourth one, and he does another great emulating of Michael Kamen's work. You know, you can see this film and see how it emulates a Die Hard score, has the same feeling, has that great, awesome, action-driven pace, and, you know, mystery to the score of the action 80s, and, you know, it was another good score by Marco Beltrami. And, I mean, again, overall, I used to think this film was better than Live Free or Die Hard. Oh, man, not anymore. Like the one thing that this film still has going for it is I'm glad they made it go back to rated R, and they didn't try to edit it for PG-13 audiences, thank God, because that was Len Wiseman's biggest mistake for 4, and they shouldn't have done that, minus some, you know, characters I didn't like in Len Wiseman's story. But man, this film, by, you know, from the script by Skip Woods and directed by John Moore, it's like this film went way too fast, way too fast. It's like point A to point B. Hey, we're at the beginning. John McClane's going to get his son. Holy crap! All shit breaks loose. Non-stop action. Okay, a little bit of character interaction, a little bit of dialogue, just a bit of the main story. Holy crap, we get to the ending fight. Kamarov's dead, his daughter's dead. Both Jack and John McClane survive. And then probably the other best bit that this movie has is Mary Elizabeth Winstead is in it. She drops her dad off at the airport. She says, you know, just be careful when you see Jack, and, you know, take care of yourself. You know, don't get bad. And then she's talking with him, she's talking with John McClane on the phone while he's chasing down Alec and his men and the truck that he's in. And she's like, Dad, what are you doing? He's like, I'm a little busy here, sweetheart, trying to keep things under control. Don't worry, everything's fine. You know, that was funny. And when they get home from the plane, it's like you see John McClane get out, you see Jack McClane, you know, Lucy runs up to all three of them, they hug and embrace, and there's this slow motion where they're talking about their adventures, and it seems like Lucy's even mentioning what happens in Live Free or Die Hard to them as well, and, you know, it's a nice family gathering, and I thought that was a good way, at least, to end this film. The family got back together. Now, like I said, if they do a sixth Die Hard movie, or if it's called McClane, I think you have to get Bonnie Bedelia back, and you have to make it a whole family affair where the whole family is there at the end, and they've probably reconciled their differences. Because personally, I don't want to see a film where McClane dies. I know everybody's saying, well, that's how you end a big heroic moment. Maybe the hero sacrifices himself. I'm like, does that always need to happen? Does that always have to happen? I don't want it to happen to McClane, because, you know, McClane, like I said, in every movie, he goes through so much shit. In this movie, he went through some shit. Not as much as he does in the other previous 4 films, but I mean, he still went through a lot of crap in this 5th movie to get to his son, and, you know what I mean? It's like, he goes through so much shit. I don't want to see him die at the end of McClane if that happens. But I mean, I just hope if they make McClane, it's better than this. I mean, A Good Day to Die Hard is way too fast-paced. It should have been at least 2 hours long, gave us more structure to fit the movie, to fit characterization, to find out what these villains' motivations were, so it wasn't as, you know, just straightforward and stale, straightforward and formulaic, straightforward and just like, let's get this movie done, let's just make balls-to-the-wall action, and don't get me wrong, the chase scene in Russia is great. The battle at Chernobyl is great. The battle in the hotel is great too. The quick battle at the safe house was great, but bam, 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 bam. My problem is there's so much happening at once. There's no time to breathe, just like the 4 previous movies. They gave you a little bit to breathe, and they structured on plot. The plot is just so simple for this movie. Oh, John finds his son. Oh, look. Jack and him reconcile. Oh, they got to stop Russian bad guys from stealing enriched uranium. It's like, wow, this is it? Just like, bam. It's like, holy crap. So, that's my theory on this. And I'll give you my rating for it in a moment, but we're going to get to Rotten Tomatoes. And man, oh man, I tell you, this film, according to Rotten Tomatoes, did not do well at all. Holy shit. It did not do well. Oh, man. So let's see. Let's get to it here. Let's find out what we got. Okay. Alright, so basically, according to Rotten Tomatoes, trademark, of course, by them, there is a 14% critic rating. 14%. Holy crap. And then, if you guys think, like, we as fans like this movie, I liked this movie at the time, you know, and I'm telling you right now, I still like this movie, but this movie is the weakest in the series. It is weak. Oh, wow, it's not even an hour and 40 minutes. It's basically almost an hour, 98 minutes. 98 minutes, this movie, so an hour and 38 minutes. Wow, that's terrible. Holy crap. But yeah, like, getting back to the fans, you know, 40% we as fans rate this, and I hate to agree with that. I'd give it 50% rating. In fact, my original rating for Live Free or Die Hard was like a 7 or an 8. I will give a 7 or an 8 to this film because I love the action, I love the zaniness of it. I just hate how it's so point A to point B, just quick and done. That's my thing. So I'll give it, if I had a percentage, a 50%. If you want my rating now, I'll give you my rating now, 7 or a 9, or 7 or an 8. You're filtering between 7 or an 8 out of 10. I mean, because it wasn't completely bad, but it could have been so much better like its predecessors. And this is what the overall critic consensus says. So I quote from Rotten Tomatoes: A good day to Die Hard is the weakest entry in the storied franchise, and not even Bruce Willis's smirking demeanor can enliven a cliched, uninspired script. Oh, enliven, okay. Yeah. I have to say Bruce Willis's humor and things like that was one of the things that kept me going in this movie. The action sort of kept me going, but the story was so, like I said, the story is so formulaic, and it does weigh the movie down. So I fully, for the most part, agree with that critic. That is, I mean, yeah, could have been so much better, and it wasn't. Oh, man. Let's see here. Let's get to some of the critic parts. I'm gonna read all the bad ones, because there's only one good review, so I'll start with all the bad ones. Let's see, I'll do 4 of the bad ones that I see here, and then we'll do the 5th good one. Let's see, so we'll do 4 of them. Let's see, there is this is from September 7th, 2017, so sort of, currently relevant, from Candace Frederick from Real Talk Online, and I quote, she has a rotten review: "It makes you think that the previous movies, or the first 3 really great ones, were all just a fluke." I get where you're coming from, but not really. Not really. It's just, they were trying to piece together a Die Hard film that didn't go all together that well. It was just a balls-to-your-wall action film that had Die Hard elements into it. So, I agree with you a little bit. Candace Frederick, but not really. Not really. This is from June 21st, 2016, a rotten review from Jason Bailey of Flavor Wire, and I quote, "It is for anyone who loved the original films, comma, an abomination." Maybe I don't understand his grammar, but I don't fully get what he's... I mean, so it is for anyone who loves the original films, an abomination. And I'm like, what I would have put is, for anyone who loved the original films, you may look at this as an abomination. There you go. That is to me, that's a bit more of a structured sentence than I mean, I think I understand what you're saying there, Jason Bailey, and I mean, I won't say it was a complete abomination, because there were good moments and good stuff in this film, but it is definitely not great. It is definitely not great. Upon further reviewing and thought in recent weeks, and considering I just watched this with one of my friends a few weeks ago as well, yeah, it is not the greatest in the series. I give Live Free or Die Hard a lot more credit now than A Good Day to Die Hard. But I still don't fully understand what you're saying. Let's see. Let's see, we have this review from April 17th, 2015 from Chris Stuckman, and I quote, as he does a rotten review, "John McClane is listed as the character Willis plays in the movie, but the John McClane I've grown to love over the years is nowhere to be found." Dude, you're freaking serious? Bruce Willis's McClane is still there. It's still there. The character is in that movie. The character is there. I mean, it is John McClane. It's just John McClane is older. He can't do everything that he used to do. But, I mean, I get it, dude, but John McClane is there. It's one of the things that I like the film, but Bruce Willis is not enough to save the full credibility of the film, but John McClane is there. I mean, I just quoted some of the lines while doing this review, liking the things Bruce Willis said. Oi. Well, I don't fully agree with that, Chris Stuckman, but hey, I mean, we're all welcome to our opinion, right? Let's see, this is from, even a few years ago, January 3rd of 2014, from Wesley Morris of Greatland, and it's a rotten review, and I quote, "This is the fifth and least of the Die Hard movies." I agree. Not much to talk about there. That's exactly how I feel. Oh boy. We have one from, when it used to be Roper and Ebert, but I know it's now just Richard Roper. I actually like what, Lorshka Ivan Zeta said. And that is basically how this film is, because the action is so nuts and zany. I admit, when I was watching it with Davis, I did lose track of sorry, Davis is my friend, everybody. My friend who I was watching it with. When I was watching it with my friend Davis, we lost track of what was going on. And I've seen this film, like, at least 3 or 4 times already. And, I mean, for me to lose track, even though I know this film pretty well, I mean, that says it all. So that is a great quote there. So I agree with it, because the action is good, but the direction that John Moore went with was so crazy and zany, and like I said, there's not enough story to get us going. It's almost like we're watching a incoherent movie. It's almost like they made a second Commando movie, but not as good as Arnold Schwarzenegger's Commando, because Commando is zany and crazy, but it's so ridiculous, it's good fun. This movie, it's like, you watch it, it's sort of like, what the fuck is going on? You know, and you don't understand, and it's like, you know, well, okay, shit, if that's what's going on, right, hey, John's trying to get his son apparently is working for the government and spy stuff, hey look, they reconciled, oh, let's kill the Russians, woo! It's like, where's the structure? Nowhere to be found. Nowhere to be found. Alrighty. So, you know, for the first time ever, I think I agree with most of the credits. It's just that, Jason Bailey and Chris Stuckman, I have no idea what those two were sort of getting at, but hey, again, we are welcome to our, devices, and we are entitled to them. Within reason, of course, within reason. And holy crap, I've not eclipsed an hour yet. So, as you guys heard, I said I would give it at the end, but as you know, I give this a, in-between of 7 and 8 out of 10, because the action is good, even though a little bit of a mess. John McClane, Bruce Willis still knows him really well, and is that character I don't think anyone will be ever to emulate the John McClane character ever like he did if they ever replace John McClane with another actor. You know, I mean, great score by Marco Beltrami, but yeah, just quite a bit of stuff missing from this film. I still like it. I love how it's rated R and not an edited PG-13 mess like Live Free or Die Hard is. That's why I say if you get Live Free or Die Hard, you have to get the unrated version. It is the only version of that worth having. But other than that, you know, what do you guys think of A Good Day to Die Hard? Do you like it, or do you hate it like a lot of those critics did? Do you agree with my comments on it? Do you enjoy it still, but, you know, knew that this could have been way better than what we got? You know, just leave a posting down below in the comments if you wish, and, you know, I will get back to you guys as soon as I can. So, this is 012 Boku coming at you with another movie review, and you guys have a great day, and deuces. But, don't forget, remember the important things. Fuck Joe Biden, fuck Jen Psaki, and fuck the establishment. Hey, coming at you guys. Have a good day.